now going to look at the Moment of Reflection collection. So this is a beautiful collection and it's going to work for you for all of those cards, for them perhaps the more somber moments. But it'll only take a tiny twist that you can change these to make them maybe birthdays, anniversaries, even weddings, because there's crosses and things and doves in the collection. Or you could do confirmation, baptism, christening and all of those sorts of cards. So it's a really, really versatile collection. So don't be put off by the fact that it said moments of reflection, because it will go so much further. Now I'm going to start off with my pear frame. So this is my pear frame. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at all the detail. So you've got a split unity outside die, then you've got a foundation die, you've got detailed dies, and then you've got 5 dies here all coming through to finish in that beautiful center icon die. So you've got so many dies on there. So I'm going to cut my frame. So I want this. Now I want an aperture in the center. So I'm going to take the frame, I'm going to put it on my die mat. Now I've got a cutting blade around the outside here, but I don't have a cutting blade there. So if I just cut it like this, I'm going to have a solid piece in the middle. I don't want a solid piece in the middle. I want my frame. So I'm going to take the largest of my frame dies, my matte layer dies, just all sticking together, and I'm going to pop it in here. And this is why using a magnetic sheet is so useful, because what it's doing is I can now make sure that I've got that in exactly the right place. I can then put my cardstock on, pop that like that. I've then got my cut tidy, and then we can run that through my die cutting machine. So the other dies that I'm going to be using is I'm going to be using my Gentle Doves, and again this comes with your Charisma. So you've got your Charisma just here for this one. So you've got some 3D decoupage there with the wings that go onto the doves, and then you've got the second dove as well. And the other one I'm going to use is my Lily. And again, this comes with 3D decoupage, but also with the Charisma. So we are back to using Charisma on this. So let's pull this one out. Now I have made those up, so I'll just be able to stick those on, but I wanted to show you how beautifully this one cuts. So let's move that out of the way. Lift this one off the mat, and wow, look at this. Now if I just poke all these little bits out of here, you can see, just because it's a 300 GSM cardstock, or 270 at least, I think it's 300, that pokes through there, and we can just poke all those bits out of there. Can you see how beautifully they pop out? Now I'm going to show you, I've actually got one where I've already poked the bits out so that you can actually see. Let's have a look. There we go. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? Look at the detail. And as I said, if you didn't use the center die, you wouldn't have had that aperture there, but we wanted that aperture there for today. So bringing my card in, I have just taken I buy my 8x8 cards unfolded. So this means that I've been able to create a gatefold card. So this one actually is just over 6 inches. Oh no, it's 7 inches. There we go. I've done it at 7 inches or 17.5 centimeters. So it's just the perfect double gatefold. And then in there, we're going to put some more of the cardstock. So this is the pink cardstock from the collection. Oops, throwing it all away. So we can pop that on there. Now it also had a USB. Now the papers on the USB were absolutely beautiful. There were some quite soft ones, there were some quite muted ones, but they were going to cover all sorts of occasions. And remember, it has Minecraft Studio on, so you can change them as you will. And I love this paper. Look at this. So you've got these musical notes. There's nothing somber about that that paper. This is something I would quite happily use for my daughter, who's a musician. Quite happily use this on paper on a card for her birthday. If I remember which, I've got it when it comes to May and be doing her birthday. There we go. So we can pop that one on there, and that, oops, no, that's not good, is it? It's slipped. This is a great thing about using wet glue, is I can move it. Did you see? There we go. Pop that on there. There we go. Right. So that's the centre of my card. Because it's a gatefold, we need to remember to do the inside. And then I'm going to do exactly the same on the outside. Get this glue. There we go. Squeeze it out all the way down. As I always say, if you need to, just maybe go over your cardstock with a brayer once it's on your card base, because that will then flatten it down and make that glue really stick once you're happy with the positioning, but it's entirely up to you. A bit more wet glue on that side. That's going to go just there, make sure they're nicely lined up. And then we're going to use some more of that decorative paper. Now, I want them to use it the right way up. And so what I've done is this started off as a A4 sheet, and we gave you the patterns in landscape and portrait. So this came there. It didn't quite go as wide as that. I know I had to, it was like there, and I can't remember where this piece was. It was around there, I think. Or maybe that came a bit higher. Yeah, it was about like that, I think. I think it was. Maybe, yeah, something like that. So we've got that, there they are, that's where it was. So we've got that, and I've trimmed them down, and they're going to go on the front. But I've just made sure that I've got the floral detail right to the outside edge. So I'm actually creating a frame. There we go. So we've created a lovely frame around the centre. Really frames that, that gatefold. So we can pop that on there, and that one goes onto there. There we go. So can you see we've almost created the centre design. So when we cut the pear shape, if we remember, we have all of these dies. So using the largest dies here, I've created this piece here. So I've just cut it out of some more paper. And what we've done is we've just put adhesive on the left-hand side. So that's going to fit on here. So when I pop this on, make sure I've got it straight. Easy to do because you've got a centre and a centre. So I can line that up perfectly. Perfectly just there. There we go. Because we only got adhesive on that side, we've now got the perfect opening. Do you know what? This feels like a really stable card, sturdy card, because we've put so many layers on. Now, I've used the same aperture there, and then I've used a different one of my dies in the centre. So I've used this lovely die there, can you see, to cut that. It's almost like a teeth shape. And again, I'm going to pop this on with foam tape because it just adds extra bit of detail. It adds shadow and shape, doesn't it, by just lifting it slightly. So we can pop that on there, and we're still going to be able to see this beautiful detail in the middle. So that pops on there. Now, if you remember, if you do struggle to line things up like that, just put a little bit of wet glue on and it'll help no end. So this is going to perfectly frame my pear frame. Doesn't that look gorgeous? Absolutely beautiful. Really showing a gorgeous card. Now, yes, I did want a bow on, so I'm just going to slide my glue gun on. There we go. So it can be warming up while we finish everything else off. Hope it warms up in time. So then we can just put a little bit of glue. We need to make sure we've got glue right to the edges. There's always somewhere for you to put your glue with tattered lace dies. So there we go. And I love that up to now, all we've used is the papers off the USB, some cardstock and some white card. And we've got a beautiful card base. So if we just pop that onto there, that looks lovely. And then I've cut the centre out of there. So this is up to you whether you added this bit in. And then we can pop this one onto there. There we go. And that one is going to pop in there. And I love that we've jumped. So we've got the 1, 2, there's 2 more dies that go in between there before we get to this icon in the middle. I've just found a little bit that I've not poked out. I'll get that one out in a minute. There we go, it's gone. There we are. So we've got that nice border around there. Now that card, I'm sure you all agree, could be used for anything. I could be using that for Mother's Day. I could use it for a birthday. I could use it for an anniversary. It's absolutely gorgeous and it feels so robust. So there's the main bit of my card. Now I've got my doves, and I think that this, if I put one set of doves down there, and then I put another set of doves, let's just shape them slightly, shape the wings, and another one up there. I think this could quite easily so far be a wedding card, couldn't it? Because we release doves at weddings. But then the other thing I've got is I've got some of my lilies. These are beautiful, and I can pop these climbing up the side of my card, just like that. So you can put as many or as few of those. Look at how much detail is in there. So once you put that on, you could still put your doves on, couldn't you? You can still do that. That would still look lovely. So we can, let's glue those down once we're happy with where they're going. It just shows that just a tiniest little adjustment changes the card. For 1 minute it was, you know, it could have been a birthday card. Now you're perhaps thinking this is a thinking of you card, maybe with the lilies. You could still have it potentially as a wedding card, I think, because you do have a lot of lilies at weddings, don't you? And I'm going to put the other one just there. Great thing about using this glue gel is I can position things and move them. I don't have to worry about everything being in their final positions. There we go. How about that? So let's bring this beautiful die cut in down here. Oh, I've got a little bit stuck in my glue gel. Pop that down at the bottom. I need a little bit more under his tail. Let's just pop that one there. And then if I've got enough glue, eke out just there. We can pop that one on there. Now, has my glue gun warmed up? Oh, just, let's push it through. Yeah, it's just coming out. Take a minute. We can get that, there we go, now it's flowing. Oh, go. There we go. And a bow. So I'm going to put the bow on the opposite side because that's got nothing on it so far. There we go, just hold that down. So I'm going to turn that round to show you. How about that? That is absolutely perfect. I've not even put a sentiment on there, but I could easily fit a sentiment on when I've decided what it's for. But how about that? Double gatefold with our pear frame, our doves and our lilies. Gorgeous.